Andy Frasco, how you doing?
I'm good, bud. How are you? Thanks for having me on the show.
I'm doing well. So you are a busy guy. I was
Yeah.
going over all your stuff. So it's Andy Frasco and the UN is your touring group, which has been
Yeah.
going on for many years. You have a new album coming out May 23rd, Growing Pains. You have a single, well, actually two singles, because you have Try Not to Die that has already been released, and you have a new one that just came out, which is that. What's the name of that?
Crazy things. Yeah. Try not to die and crazy things. Yeah, it's been we pumped this is our 11th album. We put
Wow,
out
I
about
know. I was checking. You guys are so. It seems like you're constantly touring. Is that kind of your life these days?
Yeah, I've been doing 250 shows a year for the last 15 years and it's slowed down a hair, but yeah, it's all we know. We were a live band, always been, and it's uh it's a crazy ride, but I enjoy traveling. I get anxious when I'm not on the move and on the run, so I love it.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I'm also a bass player, so
Oh, word, cool.
when I'm home, I'm like I got to be doing something.
No, I hear that. Yeah, I love it. I mean, that's part of the life we live. It's like I want to play music to everyone I can, and I just wanted to spread it out as much as I can to everyone. I feel every town needs music and needs people to give it to them.
Yeah, and you guys have a really fun vibe. Like it's kind of, I guess, bluesy rock. Is that kind of how you would describe your music?
It's like Americana. Like I think it's like party Americana, like organized chaos in a way. It's like our live show is so much different than our records. It's we from the 15 years of gigging. It's that's we're trying to emulate what we do on record, but it's a little tougher because we're about the vibe of the crowd and how the crowd is, and I'm the trying to glue them all together and stuff. So it's a it's a tricky thing, but yeah, lately it used to be blues. I started playing blues, and then I got into like funk and jam. Now I'm like diving into like Americana songwriter stuff. I always want to keep growing, and I always loved John Prine and all of those Nashville guys and Todd Snyder and stuff that I just wanted to start evolving into seeing what else I could put in my palette.
Yeah, hey, well, I gotta, yeah, keep growing, and influences are super important. Where did you guys originally start? Because it says like L.A. band. Is that where you're from, L.A. originally, or?
Yeah, I grew up in LA, the Valley, San Fernando Valley. I was a music industry guy from like 13 to 18. I faked my age to work at Capitol Records, and
Awesome.
yeah, it was awesome. Then I didn't get into USC, uh, and I thought I was way qualified for it, so I took that as anger or adrenaline to like I'm just gonna learn
Motivation.
motivation. That's yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's easy. Um, and so I started playing an instrument at 19, and packed my bags, booked a whole nationwide tour, didn't have a band. I would Craigslist musicians in every city for the first year until I found a band like 2 years in that like basically stuck with me. It's like I had found guys in each city, like, hey, you want to keep if I liked it, they're playing. I'm like, do you want to quit your job and keep going? I'll figure out how we make money and go to sleep and stuff. So
Yeah, jump in the van and let's go. Just joining the circus, I
yeah,
guess.
man. Yeah, the Jack. I mean, I'm a big philosophy guy. I like Jack Kerouac and Alan Watt, and it's yeah, I'm about the adventure. The idea of exploring is fascinating to me, and travel being in a band is like the last form of like being an explorer in a way of like seeing the whole world through art and
Yeah,
communication.
kind of being a musical ambassador, which is
Yeah,
it
totally.
sounds cliche, but it's actually real. That's been my life too. Like you really, it changes your perspective of the world when we're going these little towns, you're meeting people. Has that been a really enriching thing for you?
Yeah, I mean, I've learned so much about myself. I've always like I keep having this realization that it took 37 years to love myself, and it was because I was I'm not doing the normal thing. I'm thinking of love as what other people think love is, like what they like a 9 to 5, having
Right.
you know, a wife or a girlfriend or a dog, and that never really entertained me. I was like, so I was stuck in this existential crisis. Like I love just being on the road and traveling and being that 1% who gets to do that. So I finally accepted that this is just everything I've always loved my whole life. I don't know why I'm fighting, trying to keep up with the Joneses. You know, this is just who I am. I love it so
Yeah,
much.
and you sort of have to, as a musician. I mean, I'm sure you know this too. You sort of have to, at some point, you just have to go all in. Otherwise, it's not
100%.
gonna work. It's not gonna work, right?
I know. I tell everyone's like, you either gotta go full, you gotta put your you gotta put it all out there, or it's not gonna work because you know it's like I have to give everything to make it happen. You know,
Yeah,
and a lot of my you know, but I have the Kobe Bryant mentality and the athlete mentality. You know, I used to idolize guys who just always gave it their all every practice, gave it their all every like city and yada yada. So it's been nice to realize that.
yeah, that's awesome. Who were some of your like early influences? Who are some of the guys that you looked up to, not only musically, but you mentioned like Kerouac and those guys.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Kerouac, Kobe, I like Dennis Rodman. He was a character. He was a party guy, but he was focused. He just knew he had to get his rocks off a little bit, kind of like I do. I need to have a little kookiness every now and then to feel a little sane.
It helps in this world, right?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. Who else? I liked Osho before I found out he was just like having a sex trade, you know, or like a whole like it was crazy. I watched that Wild Wild Country. I'm like, damn,
A side gig.
he had a side gig. He was hooking up with everyone. I'm like, oh shit, that's crazy. But yeah, I like philosophers, man. It's I'm into it. I like film guys too, like Wes Anderson, Judd Apatow, all these guys who get. Oh, sorry. Oh, can you see me?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, sorry. Um, I like all the guys who you know, have a tribe and get everyone involved. You know, Phil Jackson is a huge inspiration for me. Like Wes Anderson, Judd Apatow, like he had Freaks and Geeks and had everyone in Freaks and Geeks when
Hmm.
he got famous, gave them their own solo gig and private gig and let them fly like Rat Pack style. Like I love um Frank Sinatra, like these guys who have
Right.
built these communities
Yeah, it
inside.
was all about tribe building and
Oh, that's
yeah.
all I'm focused on too is tribe building.
Yeah. And do you think I listening to your music, which I'm a new fan because I was checking it out on Spotify and it was really cool. Like I really dig what you guys are doing. And like it's a little bit like you said, Americana is a really good way to describe it. But one thing I noticed in a lot of your tunes is very much about storytelling. And that a lot of these people that you kind of mentioned as influencers, they're great storytellers. So has that been really important for you songwriting wise?
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like the greatest songwriters are the greatest storytellers, and sometimes or you just have to live to write. You know, it's hard to tell a good story if you haven't lived it. You could fake it all you want, but to really get into the weeds of it, you got to live. And you know, I felt like I've lived a little too much to not talk about the experiences I had, and you know, and I'm growing and just being part of this idea that life is one big storybook, you know, and I want to be. That's how I approach my music is making it my yearly yearbook of how I felt during those years, you know.
Yeah, part of it's just paying attention, right?
Right. Stay present. And it's not getting in your head because a lot of people are afraid to be present because they don't know any better. So,
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, it's being aware. Somebody said I was in Sweden. We were doing a show, and a guy came up to me at random and said, "You know, some people are awake and some people are not awake." I'm like, "That
I
is
know, dude,
so."
Europeans understand it, dude. They
I'm,
do.
I'm like, "That is so true."
I'm like, bro. Yeah, exactly. Every time I play in Europe, I'm like, a lot of you Americans are don't I mean, I'm like that too. I'm on my phone a lot, just like
Yeah,
be
in your little
present.
inner space, and
Somebody, you know, yeah, and I've been trying to like be more present like I am in music, you know. In music, I feel the most present. When I'm outside of music, it's hard to be present.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know,
There's no faking it when you're on stage. You got to be
no,
there. You
yeah,
got to be in the moment, right?
yeah, I can't phone it in. I'm like, I'm having everyone expects me to be crazy, energy, energy crazy dude. And I don't want to, and it's like when you love something, you want to be present. So
Yeah.
is I've been loving life a lot more and trying to
Well,
do
and the audience, I mean, they pick up on that. They know when it's real and when it's not real. They can
right.
usually tell. Not all the time,
Oh,
but typically.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's one thing about our band I'm really proud of. We don't phone it in ever. We're a band who always brings it every single night, no matter if we're feeling blue or tired. Like I didn't sleep at all last night. I slept like shit. We was the first time in our bus last night. Um, First time in a bus and like I couldn't sleep. Like I was so jittery and stuff. And I think Knoxville's gonna feel it tonight, but I realize when I get back on that stage, my adrenaline pops back up, and I get it again.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
weird thing.
that's the thing about being on the road, right? You gotta people see you on stage, but they don't know about all the other crap that you have
Oh yeah, oh
just
yeah, or
showing
just
up.
like having to shower at a Love's at 4 a.m. A bunch of
get
like,
your Bucky's sandwich at 3 in the morning.
oh yeah, 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 going to Love's and with a bunch like four creepy bus drivers. It's like you gonna drop the soap, boy? It's like, oh no, you got it.
So on that note, so tell me about Growing Pains, your new album that's coming out on May 23rd. One of the things that's really cool is, first of all, I love Billy Strings. I'm a huge fan of his,
He's great, right? He's
as freaking amazing. And so you have some guests on that album, which is Billy Strings, G Love, Eric Krasno. Is there more guests? Is that those guys or
uh G Love, Eric Krasno. I got a couple rappers, Prob Kaz, Rick Wilson.
awesome?
I have Steve Poltz, who's one of my heroes that I wrote this record with. Chris Galbuta, who is another songwriter I wrote with a lot. Daniel Donato too is on the record. Yeah, I pulled out all of the favors. This I not only don't like asking for favors. I don't like I don't know. I don't want to feel like I'm a burden to anyone or they don't, but everyone was totally excited and it made me feel good to have friends that have it because I always have everyone's back. I've always been that way. It's nice to
Yeah.
the reciprocation. It's like you give as much as you take and I hope that's and it was nice for them to help me out with that because they're all big dog. Billy Strings, I mean, he's my dog, but
He's hitting hard these days.
he's so famous now. I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit, dude. I'm like, you don't have to do this, bro. If this is gonna like, I know you're with like Post Malone and stuff. No, he's like, I want to, and he's a good guy, man. We're
Yeah.
all in this. It's just like this tribe we built. Doesn't matter who gets famous quicker. We're all gonna try to bring each other up, and that's what we've always been our whole life, for our whole career. We're always there for each other. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, that's you know what? That's the way it should work.
Yeah, you
You-
think a lot of people get famous and they become dicks. Like, what's the deal with that? I'm like, oh my God, like,
oh
how
yes,
do you
we
be
know
this?
that story.
Oh yeah, it's like but then you realize there's also people who get famous and stay humble and stay sweet, and that's what I've always wanted to be. And now that I'm getting a little more fame, uh, I it's nice to I don't I'm still the same dude. We're all we're not no nothing's changed besides maybe a few more bucks or a few
Yeah.
more people at shows, but I'm the same dude who's gross barefoot, barely showers type of dude, watches weird porn television, whatever it is. I'm still a weird dude that is Andy Frasco. So
Yeah. Tell me about the podcast because your podcast has been very successful and you have some amazing guests. I was checking out the list of shows. World Saving Podcast. How did you come up with the name?
oh man, I was on an existential crisis. I was like trying to get off of cocaine for a while and for like 7 years. And the first time I was too scared to go to therapy. So I wanted to talk to my musician friends that had also like a situation where they were feeling overwhelmed by touring so much and taking substances to cope with it. And they basically helped me so much with the knowledge of like it's it's not a race, it's a marathon. And
Mm.
I was like, this advice was so hit me so well hard that I thought, why don't we just like record this for other people too, and let them know how they could cope with mental health. It's like I know I'm not the only one dealing with being overwhelmed. So if I could, give that an outlet to my fans of when they're feeling low or feeling like they're depleted or don't have their right vision or dream, then I feel like that's how I could help the world too, is, you know, destigmatize the idea that mental health is bad.
Yeah,
It's
there's something you can't talk about openly, right?
it's that's just like our parents and our grandparents had to cope with that, but we don't have to do that. I mean, we could break the cycle.
Yeah, and podcasting and social media in general has been a great outlet for that. I mean, there's a lot of they talk about the negatives of social media, but that's really one of the huge positives is
Oh yeah.
bringing out those kinds of topics, right?
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of crap on there too that I don't, like social media, but like, yeah, I'm just trying to, I don't know, I'm just trying to share my experiences and try to have people learn just as much as I'm learning through my guests, and it's teaching me how to listen. I used to just be a talker and just talk over people and not really be considerate of a conversation. I would just like bulldoze my way into whatever it was, and it really taught me how to listen and actually take advice, instead of just like being stubborn. Oh, it's not how I feel at the moment. It's good to ha have a feeling of something that you don't really knew or believed in at first, so you could question how you actually believe in life.
Yeah, and listening is super important. You'll even notice as I'm doing the podcast, I nod and I don't
Yeah.
respond because I want to give you space. My normal human thing is to go, yep, yeah, but that gets really annoying in the podcast space.
No, I hear you, dude. I was like that too. I'd be like, yep, yep. I re-listened to it, I'm like, damn, just shut the fuck
Shut
up.
the fuck up. That's why I had an editor I was working with. He goes, "Yeah, I just take those out." Like, well,
Oh,
I should actually learn that lesson, which is kind of fun. It's kind of funny, but that's it's being real. Uh,
oh yeah.
how's a so collaboration seems like a super important part of what of a kind of everything you do. Is that how do you find that, and how does that come about for you?
Yeah, I don't know, I feel like having two brains is better than one or four brains on something. And I like bouncing ideas off people. It's important to me to collaborate. And I think life is a big collaboration. So I think music should be too. It's like I could write a song by myself, or like I'm envious of people who write by themselves, but I also love just like having a hang with someone and like having coffee and writing a song and just like basically the song is just therapy of what we're feeling that day. So it's like basically a free therapy session with people who are strange, because I write in Nashville a lot. I wrote a song for like Zach Brown and Snoop Dogg, and I'm like in that world now is like
Awesome. Yeah.
that's cool. I've been writing in Nashville with my buddy Chris Galbuta, who's the best songwriter on the planet, I think. And he just showed me that the way of collaboration. I used to just be in a vessel thinking, oh, I just have to write songs with my band. That's it. That's I'm in a band, but it opened my eyes like I can write with anyone. It's all about the song. It doesn't matter who writes it with you. It's like
Yeah.
I have to write. I always want to keep learning, and different songwriters have different ways of how they approach writing. So just helps me grow as a songwriter, collaborating like that.
Yeah, that's super important. And you get just getting outside influences that can kind of stimulate a whole new path, right?
Yeah, 100%. You
Um,
gotta do it.
tell me, yeah, sorry. Cool. So let's see. So tell me about advice that you would give to young artists, young musicians, especially these days touring, because I know it's not easy to tour. Not that it has ever been, but in particular now, these days, it's been challenging.
Yeah, it's don't do it for the money, don't do it for the fame. Do it because you believe in your art and never give up on it, even if you're playing in uh Poughkeepsie, Ohio, or Manhattan, Kansas to four
Oshkosh,
people.
Wisconsin.
Oshkosh, because maybe you played in Oshkosh for four people, but the next time it's 8, and then the next time it's 60, and the next time it's 100, and next time it's 1,000. I mean, we're a band that took the stairs. We never had an elevator. We're just the band that the blue collar, you put your boots on, you put your Sane or my I go barefoot. You put your Laker jersey on, you go to work. That's my 9 to 5. And I think you just have to just not take no as an answer. However way you want to approach it. If you want to play live like us all the time, do it, but never quit at it. Or if you want to just keep writing and be in the studio, never quit. Just Jimmy V said it best when he was dying from cancer. Never give up. Never give up, even if you're low, depleted, burnt out. Because when you're 80 and you finally see your dreams happen, or even like now, 37, I'm finally seeing my dreams happen. I thought they were going to happen when I was 20. I'm so appreciative I didn't give up, because I would have been more sad if I gave up and thought, oh, what if, now I know there's no what if. I did it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you only lose if you quit, right? As long as if you're still in the fight, then you haven't lost. Yeah.
Yeah. And don't take, who cares if people think your songs suck? If you like them, fuck everyone else. They all could suck it, who cares?
Yeah, and the thing is, you can't, if you try to write because you want people to like your songs, that's ass backwards, really. Don't you think?
It's like anything. It's like changing yourself to be with a girl. It's like anything. It's like, don't change yourself to get a fan base. Go out there and be your own artist and be as creative and silly and thought-provoking and radical as you can. We got to get back into the renaissance of being radical again.
Yeah. So guys, yeah, like the Bob Dylan story. That's kind of like a really good example of that, right? Just
Bob Dylan, Woody
finding your own
Guthrie.
path. Yeah.
Yeah. Get out there. I mean, Buddy Guy, Dr. John, the band, all these bands that no one really sounds like them because they didn't care about that. They wanted to be themselves. Like, if you get inspiration from everywhere, but you don't have to just sound like the band that's famous now, because the time you put out that record, that band's already going to be not famous anymore.
That's right. Yeah.
They're going to find a new trend. So you might as well make your own trends.
Exactly. That's a good quote, actually. How can people find you online? Your social website, all that stuff.
Just look for Jufro on Google. No. AndyFrasco.com, Instagram at Andy Frasco everywhere. Yeah. And yeah, easy enough. Or just like the Jufro Laker jersey Jufro guy barefoot.
That's a nice visual.
Yeah, man.
With a cool hat. And you got cool hair too. I'm jealous. I got hair.
Yeah, I showered finally, so I'm like kind of straightening it out. Or it's crazy. Like it's like still, it's wild.
The mad professor vibe.
Yeah, I got to straighten it out of hair. I don't know how many Jews are out here in Knoxville. I gotta get a little straighter.
Hey, thanks, Andy, for joining me. Everybody, please check out World Saving Podcast, which is awesome. Really killer guests. Growing Pains, a new album coming out May 23rd, and Try Not to Die, new single. So awesome, man. I'm so happy you guys are busy. It sounds like you're having fun.
Oh
yeah, that's super
We're
important.
having a blast, man, and it's about. Yeah, I'm just honored. This is the best music I ever made. I'm just so proud and thankful that people like you are listening and giving it a shot and giving me some airwave time. It's really an honor to meet you.
Yeah, likewise. You too, man. It's good, really cool music. Also, check it out on Spotify, all the streaming outlets, because it's fun, and you have a whole collection and a heck of a lot of listeners, by the way.
Yeah, it's happening, dude. It's crazy.
It's pretty awesome.
Fun, please. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, awesome. All right, hey Andy, have a safe time on the road, and hopefully, if you come through Vegas, let me know, and I can come by and check you out.
I'll be back, baby. I'll see you in Vegas.
Awesome. Thanks, Andy.
Later, buddy.
Ciao. Bye.
Thanks.